Started, it looks like not quite a big crowd, but I think we have enough for a quorum.
Yep.
Right. Any new members?
You mean it's
Yes.
No, I'm here.
You're here, you're a new member. Where are you from?
Kelsey Court.
They're all from Kelsey Court. This
Oh,
one is
really?
too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Could you guys
Okay.
introduce yourself? Court. I'm not familiar with you.
Could you introduce yourselves?
I'm Beth, I'm the secretary.
Beth, I'm Bill.
Bob Zeller, treasurer.
Carol, Majoka.
You're at large.
We are the members of the board at this point in time. I don't know when we're gonna have
Well, we never have elections, we all said yeah for another year.
Well, where's Mary?
Mary is in Florida. with
Mary's
us.
okay, she's just visiting family.
Well, you didn't mention
Yeah, this is Mary Patton, she's the invisible one.
Well,
She's here in spirit, I bet you she's thinking of us.
I'm sure.
Because
Probably
this
very
time,
happy.
everybody's,
is this better for you?
Now she's sitting on Mary.
She needed us together, so we all were. Hi, Mary.
can I get a motion to accept the previous meetings?
Motion made.
Somebody, okay, we got 14 people.
I wasn't here.
Okay,
For
this
you
comes
new
back to
members.
Bob very quickly.
Hi, everybody.
We're very informed.
Bob is our treasurer for the new members.
And we're glad that our friends from Kelsey Court are here, thank you. I mean, it's always good getting our new neighbors involved so that y'all know what's going on, with the community. To just maybe focus on first of all, just the financials through the end of, through September. Everything's basically on track. The committed communities are paying. There's really nothing major out of line on, where we are with our budget. We're actually doing pretty good with payments and collections, so that's good. Unless anyone has any questions on this year's financials, I mean, the one main topic that we are gonna talk about is the budget for next year. If anyone wants an extra copy of the budget, I mean, we have some extras. I think the more copies that get out there would help the group see what's going on. We'll get a couple more copies out. You got a bunch there, okay. If anyone wants to grab a copy of the budget or raise your hand, we'll get you one. That way at least everyone can kind of reference them.
Anybody else?
Is that came in, I
There's
can't, I
plenty
can
here.
hand them out to
Oh, you
everybody.
got one.
Huh?
Anybody else? Take another one. Thank you. No problem.
Follow along.
Girls?
Follow along.
Okay.
We're not selling them. I mean, they're here to take free.
All right, unlike last year, we are in a much better financial position this year. One of the major things that still continues to be an impact was the unilateral decision of Fairwood Lakes to stop participating back in June, which wrecked our budget for last year, and it still is impacting our finances, and that's a major reason we can't have 2 guards at the front booth. We started the year with 156 in checking. We're projected to end the year about 26,000. Part of that was about 10,000 was reserves that we didn't have to spend anything on. It was pure reserves. The other was $12,000 that we saved on 2 budget items that we didn't go forward with. We didn't hire a property management company last year. Decided since we were so low that we would continue as a board to do the management, and we were unable to get insurance. So that was some extra money there. Now this year, we are looking at hiring a property management company. We've talked with Nicole Labrie with Sweetgrass. We'd like to put that in place for the beginning of the year. there's several reasons for us to get a management company. Number one is we are doubly exposed as a board. Number one, we're exposed because we don't have insurance, and number two, we're exposed because we're doing the property management. None of us are professional property management companies. So those are two things that are on this year's budget that we're gonna be going with. We can do the budget, currently every unit pays $8 per unit per month. We can do the budget with $7.50. We have asked around for some feedback, and some of the general feedback that we have been getting from HOAs is keep it at 8 and apply that extra funds towards reserves. Cause we just don't know what's down the road. I mean, between expanding the security camera system, someday when we're gonna have to start doing the road maintenance, and keeping them at $8 would generate an additional $9,500 a year towards reserves. We're not trying to make money, we're not here to make money, but we're just trying to manage our shared expenses. Going down the budget, tried not to change too much. The main things that we did change were certain things like guard building electric went up a little bit, miscellaneous expenses, office supplies, nothing major. We did get a solid price from the security vendor. They went up from $75,000 to $82,000. Most of that was cost of living, keeping their guards paid. Postage went up. I mean, and fairway maintenance went up a little bit, but other than that, we tried to keep our expenses about the same. We did combine several categories that were essentially reserves. Last year, we had a category for camera hardware, stormwater, and attorney/legal, which those were all basically reserves. Anyways, we just combined that into one category for reserves this year. So depending on what the community wants us to do moving forward, if we go down to $750 a month, we'll be applying $2,000 towards reserves. If we stay at $8, we would be applying an additional $9,500, like $11,500. So if anyone has any input, questions on the budget, what their thoughts are on if we should go to $750 or $8, we'd love to hear it, because this is not our decision, this is your decision.
$8.
$8. It's like you said, $8.
For a vote, we can vote, we have enough. You know,
Okay.
and it's, I feel that we can always go, if we go down, you can't go back up. Everybody's been paying 8, they're used to it.
And it's nice, 'cause every year for the last, I don't know, so many years, it's been going up a quarter a month.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice that we're not going up. And not to put someone on the firing squad, but does anyone here feel strongly that we should decrease it to $750? Mary? No? Okay.
No, Mary says it's okay.
Mary says
Mary
okay.
says
All the way from Florida.
Thank you. All right, and
She wants another 50 cents for her, but that,
would anybody mind making a motion, or I don't know if I'm allowed to make a motion that we approve the budget with the $8? Or maybe a
Ursula's gonna make it.
Oh, may I ask a question?
Absolutely.
The front entrance landscape project, 375, is that gonna modernize the look of the front entrance? I'm sick of those swans and the dead flowers out there. I mean, it's a big little community now. We should really bring it into the.
That's not for that. That's basically to keep up in case like maybe the flagpole breaks or something like that, 375. And I know that you're new, and I appreciate the question. The challenge that we're up against is we don't own that entrance.
Oh,
It is not our land. It is the developer's land / the golf course owner's land. The other thing is that road is going to be widened at some point, and we don't know what we're going to be left with. We're thinking at some that the developer will reinvest with an updated entrance there. That's very optimistic on my part. Hopefully they will. But realistically, one of the biggest challenges that we have, and I'm just because you're new to this, is we don't have control over what's going on. The bulk of the timeline and the control of what's going on is due to whatever the future development is.
When the home was sold to us, the real estate people indicated, Orton, the representative in
Oh,
the
the
home,
road's gonna
said that
be
there was gonna
paved.
be a whole new guardhouse, they're gonna redo the whole road, and where the dirt mountain is, they're gonna do a traffic circle.
Yeah, they
So
will.
that's what's told to people, I
Yes,
don't
us
know.
too.
You too.
Yeah, might as well tell me.
Well, I mean, and here's some of the facts. There will not be a guardhouse because the road, per county standards, to accommodate the additional 500 homes has to be widened and improved at the developer's expense. That rules out the guardhouse. It's gonna
Isn't
go.
there supposed to be a second outlet?
Everybody laughs.
Yes.
Nope.
Once again, we've been through that, and trust me, my heart goes out for you because this is a lot of misinformation you probably got. And these are the battles that we fought with the redevelopment plans and the zoning and everything else. I mean, these were battles we fought and lost at the county. Number one, all the plans I see, the dirt mound will be a traffic circle and with a fountain there. Yeah. And then your other question was,
Well, we're gonna undo the fountain.
fountain?
It's not gonna have water.
The
Guard
flowers in
shack.
the front.
Yeah,
That's
that's
done by
gonna be-
Carol, myself, and some of our other neighbors in, Island Green East, and we just volunteer and do it.
Oh,
The
okay.
stuff is kind of stored in my garage, that would- as we change the seasons around. We will be doing more, setting up probably mid-November for Christmas.
Okay.
So I know what you mean, the flowers are getting, because
And
they,
the swans have to go.
yeah, I know, well, whatever, and Carol's up there, so.
I
We could have
swans
swans for
up there
dinner.
because I got them from my house, just to put them up there.
But
But
anyway, that's where that is.
Okay.
anybody can go up there and put flowers up there and do anything, you know, just,
You know,
You gotta remember, there's no
come and
water
help
up
it,
there,
any- you
so.
know,
Okay.
and-
yeah, now
You
there's
know,
no
the-
water, we have
so,
water, but
yeah.
there's no water now, but
Yeah.
And if
everything
they're
was,
just gonna knock it down
just
to the property.
donated.
Right, that's
Yeah,
one reason
money.
we're just using what we have.
Yeah, I always had to ask permission to do any, I used to have to go to, Ray Watts's, at the time it was Ray Watts, his lawyer, to ask for permission, cause that was his property.
Ray Watts owned the golf course. He lost it through foreclosure, bankruptcy, whatever, and then
This guy.
Mr. Williamson
Yeah.
got the share of what the golf course was.
Is that Bob that I hear
Yeah,
about?
yeah, Bob
Yeah.
Williamson. And it's unfortunate the information you're getting from the DR Horton on site. I mean, you know,
It's horrible.
it is.
It's absolutely horrible.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if they, I don't feel as though they're deliberately being misleading. I just think they're keeping
Oh,
themselves
no, they're
blissfully
not.
ignorant. I don't know, and that's
Well,
not.
it's supposed to happen down the road, way down the road.
Yes, Alice.
If you guys are all getting the same erroneous information from the same source, it would be in your best interest to protect your new neighbors, to go back and offer them some really tough love and some feedback. They may not know what's going on, but that's kind of their fault. This is a public meeting, we invite everybody, it's published online. There are signs, thank you Beth for putting them out every time. So
remember.
this is not new information. If they're not providing you the best information possible when you're buying a property, they're not doing the best by you as their client. So I would suggest going back to them or to their broker or supervisor and say, listen, you know, this agent didn't know what was going on. I strongly recommend, since you're still continuing to sell homes back here, that you either send a representative or you do your due diligence and you do your homework.
And you're right. I mean, it's not gonna protect you from the misinformation that you got, but maybe if you go to DR Horton and try and hold them accountable, it'll protect some future.
They're not gonna give you anything, but you could protect your new neighbors.
Right. Have you
Has
guys heard
anybody
at all
else had
that
problem with
Kelsey Court is?
fencing at their house?
Let me get her
Oh,
first
sorry.
and then we'll go.
No, she can go first.
Okay, you can go first.
It's a different subject.
Go ahead. No, I'm, you know,
Has
we did these
anybody had
aspects.
trouble with getting fencing in their yard? The
That-
ridiculous.
No, we had to-
And once again, to be completely honest with you, that is a specific question for Kelsey Court's HOA. You know, one of the things we have is 26 different HOAs in here. This group does not oversee any individual HOA.
Okay.
We're basically here to take care of the common things that all 26 communities share. The security program, the 9 streetlights on Sunnehanna, cutting the grass up at the entrance. I mean, if we weren't cutting the grass up at the entrance, it would, yeah, and it happened last year, it just started looking like a jungle.
Right.
So this group basically is here to oversee that limited common area, but that is definitely a great question. If you don't know who the manager is for, I can get you his name. His name's Tyler with First Service.
Kyle, yes.
So all our problems with Fairway at the end of Kelsey Court has to go through Tyler and.
Are you talking about the people of Fairway Village that are driving down the cul-de-sac?
Driving motorcycles,
Yeah.
they're putting old TVs.
Tyler brought that to my
It's
attention.
terrible, terrible. We
and
saw a
I
guy
hear you.
getting arrested, they're like, well, drug addicts down there. They're walking up the street to our houses, asking if they can borrow stuff.
Let me just fill everybody in on this. This is an ongoing security concern that is going on. Kelsey Court is the new street off to the right, just past Fairway Village. You go down, it's basically 36 homes and it's a cul-de-sac. Well, apparently there's been a good amount of problems with building 1 and 2 in Fairway Village, which is down there at the end of the cul-de-sac. Part of those problems are that individuals are driving golf courts, cars, motorcycles
Parking overnight, picking
at
up
the
people.
end of Kelsey Court. That has been brought to the attention of security, to look out for that.
But they're only here at night.
They are. They're here at night. It's been brought to the attention of Fairway Villages,
There
you know.
was even a drug overdose, and they dragged the body to the mailboxes from back there.
That
It
was
was
a
in the
couple months
papers.
ago.
Oh, jeez.
Here's the thing, you know, honestly, when it comes down to that's for the police. Your
Well, the
agent,
fence at the end
That's
is
all we're
what
asking.
we
We want a
requested from
fence.
Tyler,
Yeah.
because that's the reason why there's an inflow of the problems on.
and
our
that is
street.
honestly the solution. That land right there is owned by that HOA, the new HOA. That is something that Tyler and the development and the new HOA, if I lived in your community, I would be insisting on a fence, a barrier, something there to close you off. This group doesn't have any say on it. Even if we want to help you out, we don't have the right to because it's not our land.
The new, Cinema Circle or whatever that is, Casimo, and I saw dirt bikes entering from the yacht club. So they were coming from the yacht club into our community. So I believe that the source of the dirt bikes are people that live over there.
I live on Shroom, which is the first road. I have kids coming in through the woods
Yeah,
into my yard
Yeah.
from Heron Point. You know, we just put signs up,
Yeah.
they chase them.
yeah, right.
You know, ours are kids, I'm not, well, I should be concerned, they're probably juvenile delinquents, but, you know, we have, they'll always be here, the guards see them coming in.
And the guards do
Yeah,
talk to them, if they're here, they talk to them, but I mean, it's kind of the whole attitude nowadays is, these kids just cop attitude with them, cause they know they're little snowflakes and there's nothing you can really do to them. And even if you bring them home to your parents, I mean, if you brought me home, my daddy beat my ass. Nowadays, the parents will wanna fight with security, like, what are you doing picking on my kid?
we just had an incident, I don't know that you guys said, a kid, 16-year-old, driving a golf cart, 15, 16-year-old, down St. George, not stopping for any stop signs, driving very recklessly. Somebody reported it, the guard got him, told him to take it home and park it. He's not allowed to drive it. But is that gonna hold?
No.
I mean, yeah.
He's always around that kid.
So, I mean, the guards are trying their best, but they don't get cooperation from parents.
When do we lose them? I might have missed that conversation.
When did we lose what?
I thought the guard station was leaving.
When the road comes.
Okay,
When
so
the-
then that's when it goes down.
Yeah,
But
no,
we're still gonna have
the guards.
patrols, we're still gonna have the 8-hour nightly patrols, that's not
Oh,
phased to
okay.
change. And one of the recent developments that we did was to have the guards for the first hour or two of the shift, show a presence at the guard shack. And it seems the feedback is good about it. Number one, they really can't check to keep people in and out, but at least people see a presence up there. It's better than them just roaming in the car for 8 hours.
And 2 cars the other day came in, saw him, turned around and left, didn't even come all the way.
So it doesn't
a little
hurt. I
bit.
mean, it's kind of a mixture of patrol and being up there. Now, of course, if there's an incident, sometimes, I mean, these guys get on duty, the first thing they do is listen to the message and there's something they gotta address. So if they're not there, they're not there. If you do notice that the car is still in the parking lot, 7 o'clock is when they start, right? Yeah. Let us know. I mean, we had some feedback last meeting that they felt that the guards were coming in late. Let us know. But the best time to let us know is immediately, not a month later, cause then at least if if you don't have my phone number, I'll give it to you, you can call me or text me, but, help us keep an eye on them. We don't think we're having a problem with them, but I mean, it's like anything else, any employee, if you don't monitor them and watch them, they can take advantage of it. I don't think it's an issue, but what we're asking the community, if you notice something like that, report it.
If any HOA wants to look at the reports from last month, I have them here. If any HOA wants to hear about it when it happens, call me. And I will make a copy of the report for that night.
Do we have your cards or your numbers, or where are they listed?
The letter that went out, well, I can,
I can reprint the letter that we sent out to the HOAs and we'll put it up at the guard booth, cause it'll have the letter and it has all of our phone numbers.
Oh, okay, well, that, I can get that in my
Yeah.
notes.
And if anyone wants to take a pen out, you can write my phone number down, or you can Google me, it's everywhere, but if you wanna know it, it's.
I got your number.
Oh, I know you got my number, you got my email. She's in my HOA, so she's my watchdog.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. Okay,
All right.
Bob Zeller's the name, 843-450-8760.
Repeat it.
843-450-8760. I do listen to voicemails and I do return phone calls, but I'm not real good at answering my phone after 6 o'clock at night.
You say it was 843-450-8760.
8760. Yes, sir.
One more time.
You got it. 843-450-8760. And like I said, I do return voicemails, I do return text messages.
The website?
Oh,
It's right here, let her come up here and get one. Didn't I give you one of these?
I haven't even looked at it.
It's right on the front page, that's our website.
But I guarantee if you call me at 6:30 at night or 7 o'clock with a security issue, I will not be answering my phone, because I can't stand
thank
it after hours, and it goes upstairs in the office, and I focus on my family.
Are the guards checking, when they're at the guardhouse early on, are they checking cars coming in?
No.
We don't.
We don't have any ability or
Okay,
right or
you
any
know.
way to manage
Oh,
that.
okay.
And whatever reason that triggered something for me to remember, and Mary was gonna remind me, thanks Mary. The guards have asked, occasionally they see wide open garage doors. Like people just forget, they forget their garage doors open. They would like to, if they do see a wide open garage door, permission to go up and ring the doorbell, tell the owner, hey, and now I'm not saying like a wide open garage door at 8:30 at night, but if they're going around at 1 in the morning, ring the doorbell, everybody okay? Don't let your garage door open. There was a report that there was a deer in one of the garages in the new section up there. The deer got in the house and got stuck in there because they left the door open. Does anyone think that it's a bad idea to tell the guards to, hey, go up and ring the doorbell if you see? I know, we didn't think so either, but we just want to bring it up at the meeting.
And also the guards tend to find open doors on vehicles. SUVs, the hatches are open, doors open. I would tell you that they look around, they look in the vehicle, they look underneath it, they look all over, and then they close them. So I think that's,
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm just kind of curious, this may be a dumb question, but why would we call you if Tyler's our HOA there up in Cinema, up in the hill?
We would help if a street light is out,
Oh.
one of the main street lights on Sunnehanna. Basically what we are is a community service association. We coordinate for the community for the areas that we all share. We all share that wonderful road called Sunnehanna Drive. We all share the entrance. There's 9 streetlights on Sunnehanna Drive that we take care of, and the shared security. Now, like anything else, Tyler would take care of something specific, and I think it would be a great idea for your community to build some type of barrier or fence at the end of that cul-de-sac, because that would be one way of deterring it.
Yes, we would love to, but DR Horton out and out lied whether we could fence our yard or not.
Well, that has nothing to do with the end of the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, there's an existing fence that runs the whole length, it just needs to be connected at the end, and then that would isolate the street from the nonsense, you know, so.
Yeah.
I had a long conversation with Tyler, should Tyler be here, is that our HOA representative?
Tyler's invited, like any other
Yeah.
HOA management company, any other, you know, what we asked for, and it'd be great if the new development got a representative.
Right.
Here's where you guys kind of are behind the 8 ball, and this happens in all new construction. The developer's the declarant, and the way that the bylaws are written is they have all the say and all the power until they're basically built out.
Yeah.
So you guys really have no representation, you really have no say. It's not uncommon, that's how it's done in all developments, because they don't wanna have to bother with you while they're
Yeah,
going
once,
through it.
once our building is completed up here in Sunnehanna Circle, and we elect a board of volunteers, then things will begin to gel. Because then we can work together, I've worked with First Service for years, so we'll be able to we will be able to work directly with First Service and you, so it'll be a coordinated effort.
Yeah.
To
Because
take
right now,
everything-
First Service is basically, your whole board back there is the developer, it's the owner.
Exactly, we don't have one yet,
Right.
that's right.
And what we ask each community to have is have a representative come to these meetings, I'm on the board for Fairwood Lakes 3. It's my job to go back to Fairwood Lakes 3 and tell them what happened this meeting.
Gotcha.
He's for Tall Oaks Court. It's his job to go back to Tall Oaks Court and tell them. And it would be
Could we
great.
just pick like this gentleman to be
If
the
the- if-
representative for?
That'd be the best thing if somebody
Chelsea
wanted
Court
to
and that,
be.
so that we
Yeah.
have somebody, or
This
or
poor
someone,
gentleman
you,
here.
somebody that we could call and get in touch with for
You know,
information.
and you all can talk after the meeting, but it would be good for you to start
That was a
doing that,
Oh, I'm
to
good
have
with
someone who will come to the meetings to let you know what's going on and be a communication channel.
To be the secretary. What year is it?
Yeah, we should, get a hold of
You know,
Tyler
just
and
somebody
say,
that
We're gonna do it.
we can get in touch with.
You don't have to get hold of
and
Tyler,
that
you can talk
pull
to
up
each other and
from.
say, hey, let's be the grown-ups for the community and
Right.
let's do this.
Exactly, cause there's a lot
Yes, Jill?
going on.
Yeah, as you know, which I explained, Fairwood Lakes, meeting had no quorum supposedly, and the board remains what it is. We tried our best last year to fight it, and, it didn't happen.
Sad.
But the question came up, I believe at the meeting, but I know it's come up to me, I've heard it, about not being a part of this and the security, the cameras that are going up apparently. Someone asked, would there be cameras installed in Fairwood Lakes? And of course, you know, the answer to, he just doesn't answer questions in the, meeting. So that, I just want you guys to be aware of it, that is a question from people in Fairwood Lakes that did come up and,
And just so we know, nobody has a problem, we feel bad for the residents of Fairwood Lakes.
yeah, it's a
They're-
shame.
they're-
It's not their decision.
It is absolutely awful. You have someone who has never voted on the board, who was appointed and had basically hijacked the board. He decided last year that he didn't want to participate in the shared program. Your community's getting run into the ground.
Oh, I know it. I mean, I don't live
This
there,
is,
but I
this
know
is
it.
an investor that owns multiple units, does not live in the community, and from all apparent
And they can't get them
looks,
out. Can't get them out.
We
you know,
tried our
because you
best.
have to get a
We're-
quorum in a
yeah.
meeting, and they tried to fight it legally, and he fought back using Fairwood Lakes funds.
Right.
You know, when the new security company started in January, we told them, listen, just make things easier,
Go.
just treat them like everybody else.
Go in.
Because we're
Right.
hoping that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, the security company told us too, recently, that basically, they're not able to patrol that area if they're not financially participating.
Right. Cause it's
So
not fair to
basically,
everybody
you know,
else.
right now, we're
Yeah.
kinda hoping that this meeting that y'all would get back, but, you know, as of basically now, they're not gonna be able to respond or be involved back in Fairwood Lakes. And Fairwood Lakes, just like any of these other condo communities, there's a lot of issues with, you know, crime and
Aren't
stuff.
they aren't they gonna be electing in April? Is it April?
No, it was last week.
It was October, and according to the board, there was no quorum for votes, and, we said, well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna schedule another meeting, so we would do what we did last year, and we had enough things for a quorum, and they totally denied it. They
Did your
wouldn't
property
allow
manager,
that
at
meeting.
least, was he or she at the meeting?
There was somebody there.
From Cam's?
I forget what her name was from Cam's, I can't think what her name was, but she was there. But, people asked, are you gonna have another meeting so we can try to get a quorum? Oh, no. And the way they sent out things and, that's why they had no quorum. You could send it back electronically, or a lot of those people don't even have computers, you know, the older people. And the rest are tenants, so he told his people not to send.
Well, he also has
submit.
8 votes, cause he has 8
Yeah,
units, so
he's
he
not
just
gonna
automatically
submit
has
it.
8 votes.
He's not submitting 8 votes, cause that helps to
Well,
get
his 8 votes could vote for himself.
Well, yeah,
Or
but
he doesn't
he
submit
can't
them,
get a
yeah.
quorum, he
Yeah.
doesn't get a quorum.
You're right, he might not
If he and
even-
all his buddies that own rental properties in there don't submit things, he's got no quorum.
That's a
Where
good
he might
point.
have ended up with a quorum if his 8 and
That's a great point.
the other ones, that's what happens, unfortunately. And he doesn't answer any questions, so, I know somebody asked me about that, and I don't even remember who it was.
I mean, it's a shame, I
How's
mean,
that legal though? How is that legal that you can't get him out of there?
We tried our best
I know,
last
I
year.
don't understand that.
We had.
I don't
we
know
had
if,
enough.
if, maybe call the media and get them involved, cause it is such a beyond shady situation
Yeah.
over there.
It's definitely shady.
It's beyond shady, I mean, and realistically, it is legal because people are appointed to boards all the time, cause it's real hard to get a quorum.
Yeah.
But just the fact that he's not even wanting to do a quorum or
Didn't even
anything.
attempt to get a
One
quorum.
person against what, 192?
Yep, 192.
And you have to have,
Jesus.
I don't know, 90 some odd, 97 or something, to have a quorum. And he never even said, oh no, he said there was 65. They only got 65. Yeah, that's
Baloney.
yeah.
What about, somebody had said that, I don't know, maybe it was you, that, they get a piece of paper and if you don't show up, that's a vote for yes.
A proxy,
A proxy,
yeah. No, like, you had to submit it to your proxy, you had to submit it to CAMS, either by mail or electronically. No one could carry, you could only, like, I went personally, I carried my ballot with me. But if, say, my brother, who has a unit there, if I wanted to bring his ballot in, no, not allowed. Not
Who
allowed,
said
I
they're
could
not
not
allowed?
carry my own
Who said-
brother's ballot
But who
in.
said that?
That apparently the board must have said it.
And it's usually, often that is in your bylaws as well. So
Yeah.
it very well could be.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm not-
CAMS, we just moved, we've been here for 4 years, but we just moved here, in August. We got rid of CAMS up the road in Myrtle's Inlet, before the contract.
We were trying
Because
it
it was
last
so
year.
bad, and went back to first service again.
Yeah,
Because CAMS, truly, they are negligent in a lot of different areas, including the financial end. And we found that out.
yeah, we did too.
So,
We tried our best. I mean,
you really need to get rid of CAMS.
we tried.
Well,
You can't imagine.
Then the community can't get rid of CAMS until they get rid of the president.
Well, you gotta get, yeah, that's true, and you can vote it out.
Yeah, we don't get a quorum because of the
Well, but
way
I
it
mean, if
runs
you get the
things.
quorum, so you have to work harder to get the people and have a quorum.
They've worked hard.
We did that
They've worked hard,
last
they even
year.
they
How
even
much
got a
money-
legal representation last year. At least several thousand on, and this is just an ongoing saga.
Yeah.
Basically, they got legal and pretty much this guy that's the president would not leave. They used the HOA money to pay for the attorney to protect himself.
Yeah, and we
And
used our
basically
money.
what happens is people get exhausted. The guy who was really involved with the whole thing ended up saying screw it, sold his unit,
He's gone.
and he's gone.
He's gone.
I've watched
And he was
dozens of
good.
people that were in that first meeting last year that just said forget it and they sold their unit and they're gone.
They stopped us from, we volunteered and went in there to clean up some of the landscaping on a weekend. We had a whole bunch of people, not the board members, of course, and they stopped us from doing anything. They literally told us not to touch anything.
That's why I wonder if like getting some of the media involved and putting some exposure,
Yeah.
because what he's
And now they
done
want a
is beyond.
landscape committee, they want people to volunteer for a landscape committee, well, guess what, I don't think anybody signed up. after that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good
I think
idea, if that's the only recourse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cause
Yeah.
just
Just
to
gotta be
embarrass them
honest,
in
Channel
public.
9 is very good about
Yeah.
digging
Okay.
into,
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
because
yeah.
we happen to watch it.
Yeah.
Because their bylaws say that they didn't have a quorum, they should have another
meeting.
notice and a meeting in 30 days.
That's right.
Did
They
that.
went and did that, the residents did that last year, they got a quorum at that next meeting.
But he wouldn't call the meeting.
He
He
wouldn't-
would not call the meeting. So we had the quorum and everything else, and he would not allow us to call a meeting.
Saying Cams is not helping you with that.
No,
No.
no,
Say,
they're,
that's right, that's how they are.
yeah, but that was gonna be our next step. We get rid of him, then we would've got rid of them.
Yeah. There's
We had that
there's
all
just
figured
gonna be
out,
no
and he would
avenue.
not allow us to call another meeting and accept the votes.
I know.
We're all different
Who's
people.
Kiki? I see.
He owns a lot of
That's the guy?
properties, yeah, he's on the board, he's the
Kiki
president,
Lee.
he's appointed himself. But he
All right, let's move on.
owns many
Okay.
units in Fairwood Lakes, he owns many units in Fairway Village, and God knows where else he does, I don't know.
To me, it's
And 9 or 10 in Fairwood Lakes, I think, and he owns in Fairway Village.
On Channel 9,
And he tried to get on the board.
I mean, here's one way that it's hurting all of you. Doing the numbers. If they were to participate, we could basically drop the dues by $1 per month per unit, because there's 192 units. The math is there.
Yeah,
Right.
This selfish person is costing
He's
everyone,
very
and I know it's only $12 a year, but it's everybody else is picking up the slack. And once again, we have a contract with the security company for a year. You know, when he pulled out without notice last year in June, that completely tanked the budget. And it's still impacting us, and that's a main reason why we don't have 2 guards right now, where one's at the guard shack, because this individual decided to do it. Maybe, and hopefully maybe someone can get the media involved and embarrass them on this situation, because it just, and it's affecting all of us.
Oh, yeah.
It's completely affecting all of us, you know, down the road, and it's just not overly fair.
No, it's not.
No, but you paid for
Nothing
a
he
lawyer,
does.
what does the lawyer say? I mean, you guys paid for a lawyer, what does a
We
lawyer
did,
say?
and that's when they said, to go ahead and do what we did last year, and then, of course, I went home, so I didn't know what the final outcome was, other than he would not call another meeting, so apparently it was.
And they spent out of volunteer money
Their
about
money.
$5,000 on an
On
attorney.
an
That
attorney.
only goes so far,
Right.
and then they need to get more money, and that's
money.
where like a lot of people just
And
got
we did
fatigued.
All the
Yeah.
mailing, I made all the photocopies myself
Yeah.
on my copier, and bought the paper, we bought the stamps, we mailed out everything and addressed all the envelopes ourselves and had it, and he,
Well, I do know for a fact, on a very similar situation that happened last year, and it was over at Park West, which is in Myrtle's Inlet.
oh, okay.
And that same president would not go ahead and leave. Everyone in the community, they got together and signed a petition to go ahead and get a new board elected.
Okay.
Now, they, just so happens, the people who were volunteers were working on this as well, letting them know what the issues have been with the board president and the vice president. All these issues began to snowball, and then the vice president decided, well, oops, we better go ahead and leave this stuff alone. They elected a new board when it came around to the annual meeting. The old president had nothing to say about it. The new
Really?
board took it over. So it's going to have to be one of these things. If you are cohesively gathered together and you can get your 51%,
Yeah.
whatever's required,
We
is
have.
typically what it is, then you could go ahead and say, hey, I'm sorry, you're out of here. You know,
Yeah.
we are the people who bought these homes. We are the people who live there. We are the people who feel that nothing's being done, and Cam's out of here too, and you get somebody else.
Yep.
You just have to really, it's tough.
I'll mention Park
But do
West,
that,
maybe
mention
people
Park
know,
West,
yeah.
I have a direct contact for that.
And because he just doesn't he doesn't wanna do anything.
He can't
doesn't
hold you
wanna fix
hostage.
anything unless it's in his units, and
And
then he
that's
makes
what
the
he's doing.
HOA
Yeah,
pay for
that's
it.
exactly what
And I
he's
think
doing.
that's what he's trying to do. He's holding hostage. They'll get upset like that one guy moved and
Yeah,
it's just.
And that's what's happened, people are moving and then
And
they're
they're just
giving
letting it
up.
go and then he's
Something's
in there.
happening.
Maybe if you would give it, you correspond, maybe give your number, you know, for some help, you know, you went through it. Now I see you.
I can, yes, I can get you a phone number. Let me get your phone number. I'll get you a phone number of a very close friend of mine who's
At
on
Parkway.
that,
Okay,
all right?
the new board at Parkway.
At Parkway.
The new board.
Yeah, the new board.
I mean, Fairwood
I don't want
Lakes
the
even
old board.
had a board, they had 5 board members that they elected in, and it just, basically, he would not leave, CAMS would not support the new board, and they said it wasn't a real election.
Yeah.
They tried to take legal action, and once again, I mean, $5,000 only goes so far.
Yeah.
And we don't even have a legal board because there are not really 5 legitimate members on that board, and it's supposed to. And he just ignored that question.
So you'll still have three members out of 5.
3 out of 5, I believe. He's saying he mentioned somebody, I don't know who. Oh, well, yeah, but they're just busy or something, couldn't be at the meeting, but there's never 5 people.
And none of these people were ever elected.
No, they were all appointed. Yep,
By him.
yeah, yep, yep, yep.
All right,
So,
we need to get moving.
yeah.
Carol, you have,
Well, I just want to say that, just to answer your question, the front entrance, I started that the front entrance was, you think it's bad now, the front entrance was, there's trees this high and it was horrible, so I started that and everybody came on board, it was like, people volunteered, taking bushes down and all that kind of stuff. And then, everybody ran away from me because I was collecting money. Jill was always running away from me. I'm always getting money from her.
Yeah, but I always gave you the money.
And
I might
everybody,
have ran,
I
but I
can't
ran like
mention
this.
somebody's name because I always feel bad that I didn't mention, you know, that I
Yeah.
forgot somebody. But everybody, 99% of the people were on board, giving money or helping out. And it started to be nice. And then, I got the, JD on the corner. And we got water in there and he helped me. And then I used to just give him the money. Plus I got, permission. I go to the, Ray Watts's lawyer and got permission to do it. And, so everything
That
was
was
going
different
fine.
owners. That was different owners than now.
Yeah, now, that was.
Yeah, now
the
it's a
beginning.
different
Now
story.
it's
They won't
different.
give you anything.
But,
She does have permission to.
Yeah.
oh, I still have permission.
Well, yeah.
I don't look good in orange or
He's
whatever.
been cooperating.
But anyway, I always got permission and I always got help and I always got money. And then JD was on board and then his wife got sick and then he got off board. Cause I used to just, it was so nice, I used to give him the money and he did everything, you know. And, so then he gave me the money back, it was $80 and I said, ha, ha, ha. So anyway, just to buy the, what do you call that, stuff that you put down, see, I'm really good.
Glass.
There.
Mulch.
And mulch. $80, are you kidding me? So anyway, so then that's when I went with the, cause I was coming out of my pocket most of it, because how much money can I ask for these people? They ran away
Shouldn't
from
be
me.
on.
So we put down that glass, and then the swans came from my house, and then I used to put flowers in there, and then everybody says to me, how come you went with the fake flowers? I said, how come I went with the fake flowers? Because nobody was giving me real flowers, and they cost money every time you go.
Right.
So that's why,
And
and
no
then
water,
fake flowers,
right.
those fake
those
flowers
get
are up
watered.
there for about 2 years now already.
Yeah.
So anybody wants to, you know, it's not, if anybody wants to put new flowers in there, thank you, you know, or do something. But we're trying, but it looks better than when it was at the beginning.
Well, I bet you're doing the best you can, yeah.
Pardon?
I said, I bet you're doing the best you can.
Well, we can have it now, it's being mowed.
Yeah. And if it's gonna be bulldozed, then, really why
Well,
are we
we'll
gonna throw
see,
money
yeah,
at it?
that
you
might be
know?
another year from now,
Yeah.
so.
2 years.
Also too, that's just one volunteer committee, they're just working on the front, there are other volunteer committees in addition to the board, because they're all volunteers, that work on maintaining fairways. So there are different challenges with that, you know, we're just all volunteers, different parts of the same community trying to come together and make it safer, better, more beautiful.
This is what you'll see on the website.
Oh, wow, I think you did.
But is this for?
I-
These videos?
Does she live here?
Yeah.
I know this the lady.
Okay, you guys can get together and see what you can do with each other on that.
Yeah.
Well, I just realized what I.
Ursula, you
What I shouldn't have said.
insert your,
Are they closing your garage door for you?
No, they're knocking on the door, or they're calling me, they're texting me now. I leave my garage door open all the time, I forget to close
Yeah,
it.
no, I'm just,
And
yeah.
actually, the guards text me, your garage door is open, and then I go and close it.
And then they report it to me.
Oh, right, so there's.
Whoa.
No name, just,
Oh, but you know it's me.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, he was coming and knocking on the door a couple times, but then they went to text, I guess. You gave
Yeah,
them my
it's
phone
easier.
number or something, they just text me now. But it is helpful, because I don't close the garage door because I'm still doing things, and I'm going back in the garage later, and then I forget, I start feeding the dogs and taking them out the back, and then I sit down, let me turn the TV on and just relax for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's like 9, 10 o'clock, and I forgot all about the garage door.
Yeah.
So it is helpful, because I don't want anybody coming in my garage at midnight or something, coming in the house.
Certainly.
So I like it, thank you.
I get in the habit of opening the inner door every
check
night
it.
and
Well,
looking
I
and
try-
locking that door from the
I
inside, but
do
I
that,
check.
but I don't go to bed till like midnight, 1 o'clock.
Oh, it gets a little
So
too late.
I
Well, you
would
can do
like
it
my
like before
garage
you
door
turn the
closed
TV on.
before then.
Get in the habit before you turn the TV on, maybe.
I know, but I just,
Before the
things
TV
happen.
watches you.
Or somebody calls me and I start talking on the phone and then I
And then you
forget what I was
forget.
doing,
Yeah,
just
it's a good
go
habit to practice.
Anyway, back to the mowing, we're still mowing. And, I've gotten some new volunteers this year, which is really, really helpful. Chuck has been wonderful because he does all the mechanical work on the mower, so we save thousands of dollars on.
Who does
labor.
that, so I can,
Chuck Modine, my neighbor.
He lives in Bob Murphy's old house.
okay.
And he used to be a mechanic many, many years ago, so he never worked on mowers, but being a car mechanic, I guess, he can figure things out. So he's changed a lot of things for us on the mower, replaced a lot of parts, worn parts and stuff, found things wrong with the mower that we didn't even know. I mean, it was running, but it needed help. So we've got the mower running pretty good right now. And like I said, I've got new volunteers to help fill in the gaps that we had. So right now, things are going good. The mower is old. It's got over 1,700, 1,800 hours on it, which, what?
Like all of us.
Like all of us, yes. The mower lives in Island Green, it's with the retired people. I think I can keep it running and, well, with all the parts that we replaced this year, hopefully, it's good. If something major goes, again, I gotta tell you that, if something major goes on it, like an $800 part or something, we're done. Right now, we've been fixing parts that cost, $150, $50, $20. We can do that. But when we get into something really big and I don't think Chuck would be able to repair it because it would need, to be taken apart to replace whatever this big piece is. But at that point, the mowing is finished. I don't know what else to say. But right now, we're good, and I think, we can definitely finish this season. I think we're gonna be okay to start next year. Again, with the building, if he starts on some more fairways, that'll take away more of the mowing that we need to do. So right now, we're going along, and thank you for the money that you budgeted this year. It helped us tremendously. I'm still getting some donations from people, but, the donations have slowed down tremendously, so the money that you gave us helped pay for all those repairs that we just did this year. Okay? So thank you, and,
You can always use gas money too.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, the
You know what?
donations.
I always catch him whenever he cuts 7. I run out and give him money. Paul, or whatever your name is.
Bill. Bill.
Bill,
Bob,
Whoever you want.
You never gives it to me? All right. What's next?
Okay,
Oh, she has a question.
yes.
I didn't realize we were being taped. What is the purpose of that?
For people that can't come that work, can go online and see what the meeting contains.
So it's open to the public?
Yes.
Well, it's just really here at Island Green, it's not.
I mean, anyone can look
Pull
at it,
up the
yeah,
Island
there's
Green
no
website.
restriction, but it's, we've done it probably for about 3 months now. It seems to be very helpful, keeping people in, we're a very transparent group, I mean, we
Right.
want everyone to know, part of the biggest challenge we've had for years is
Nobody
people
cares.
come in here and go, I didn't know, and it's like, well, we've been here every month for, you know,
So do
we're
you
trying to get.
volunteer in this?
And
We're
part of.
all volunteers, everybody
We're all
up here.
volunteers. Now, one thing that we are expanding on is Alice is helping us develop a better website. We have a website now, which is very, very limited. She's going to be helping us with that. She is doing that as a vendor. She has a marketing company. That's what she does for a living. We are gonna pay her for her time and services on that, but it's also gonna help. Yeah, but this is volunteering, plus, I mean, Dolly knows we'll probably suck more out of her than she's getting paid for.
Probably.
Probably. But that is one thing we're trying to do. We've been for years trying to provide good information to the community, let people know, and, you know, part of it is you have to wanna know. And then like anything else, I mean, we get a lot of feedback, like, you know, Friday at 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock's not a great time for a meeting.
Yes.
But there's never gonna be a great time for a meeting. If we did it at Wednesday at 6 o'clock, that's not a good time for a meeting. So we're trying to just kind of put it out there so that people can watch it. And how much response have you seen people watching?
It gets bigger every month, really,
Cool.
and
It's small this month.
last month was a little bit smaller, but in general, like, we see people, I can see the analytics of it, so that means that I can see where people are viewing it from. So if you're a snowbird and you're not here, but you wanna know what's going on, this is available to you. If you're thinking about moving to this community, but you're not sure what's going on, but you've heard some stories, this is available to you. It's not published publicly in the sense where we're trying to get people to come to the website and look at this stuff. Bob sends out a link to the entire community, all however many doors it is in the 27 HOAs, to invite them to view it so they can be aware of what's going on and be involved. And
Now, once again, it's not the entire community, it's probably about 5%, it's just an
Yeah.
ongoing list. And our goal is to expand that, so that if you can get on that email list, the more people that we can communicate with, but it is definitely limited.
And what is the website?
Dude, is it up and running yet?
we gotta get together and review it first, but
Yeah, give us
we're
another
ready for
month.
that.
She's working on it, we've got the domain, but there's nothing there yet.
We're trying.
We're trying.
But there's a YouTube channel.
Yep, the YouTube channel, is Island Green Springs. I'm currently publishing these videos through my HOA, which I also volunteer for, which is Green Springs. Green Springs in the front, not Green Springs in the back, because there's
Green
two.
Springs patio home.
Green Springs patio home, yep. So
Not
that
private
is where
home.
we host that, and then when we go forward with the new website and the new form of communication, then it will transfer over to everything's all together in one place.
And anybody who wants to be on that email list, come up, give us your name and email, and that will be turned over when Alice is evolving. So anyone that's new here today that wants to be on that email list, come up, put your name and email here, and that will be part of what Alice is expanding it for, right there on that paper.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
And what is the name of our association? Is it Community Service
Yes.
Association? Is it Island Green something?
Island Green Community Services Association is what our group is called. The legal name is the Island Green General Council, because it's just way too difficult to change a legal name with a tax ID
Yeah.
and everything else, and the checks are made out to that. But we feel that Island Green Community Service Association is a better description of what this group
Okay.
is doing.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Property management, you said you've been talking to Nicole,
Yes.
what's that gonna cost?
$500 a month, $6,000 a year.
That's not bad.
It's not, it seems reasonable to me.
Okay.
And then we're hoping to get insurance for about that same cost. I mean, we're budgeting $6,000 for insurance. Of course, if we can get it for less, that would be what we want. When Mary was doing the research, it got up to be $8,000 and they were gonna tell her it was even gonna be more. And when it got to 8,000, she's like, we're hopeful and optimistic that a contact that someone like Nicole, who's a property manager, will be able to get this pushed through, which we couldn't get pushed on our own. Once again, we're volunteers, we're amateurs. We are not a property management company, and we're trying our best.
She's good. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
No problem, thank you.
And tell the rest of your communities, wherever you're from, they are welcome to come here at the meeting and express opinions. You know, if they have something they don't like, this is the place to do it.
And remember, Bob is gonna post the names and phone numbers up at the guardhouse, so don't hesitate, maybe in the mailroom too, cause that's open. You know, that would, you know, give you another way to get in touch with us.
I'll get that out by this weekend, cause we have our 5 phone numbers, you can call any of us 5. And it'll be an update, it'll have the budget on the back, and it'll have on the front. And then we're gonna revise the budget to be $8, cause it was pretty unanimous to keep it at $8. Whatever the difference is gonna be put in the reserve column.
Our party.
Our party?
Yeah, our trip.
That's already scheduled, right?
Yes, I have it all written. Hold on.
No. Okay. We're
done.
pretty much, any other business that anybody wants to discuss?
Not so much business, but a comment. I like what everybody's been doing down Sunnehanna with the storm drain ditches. They look awesome. And I just wanna make note of that because when you drive down through here, I mean,
We
one
don't
day
know
I
who it
did-
is.
I don't know who it is either, but they're doing an amazing job because
You?
it looks much clearer through there.
It's toward the beginning of Sunnehanna?
Actually, it's starting to be all the way down through. I've seen like the ditches cleaned out, some trees were taken down.
Well,
so
that
they
was
can-
our HOA.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was
Sent
Brian.
letters out saying, clean them.
And
Or
it
else.
does look amazing because I think that keeps down some of the problems too with, you know,
The
the
flooding.
kids having to go to school, the flooding and everything. And it does, looks a lot nicer. And I just wanted to make a comment that whoever was doing it is doing an awesome job.
I will tell Brian, he'll be very happy to hear that.
Thank you.
He worked very hard to find a guy that was willing to come and do it for people.
Yeah, and he just went and communicated with everybody independently, and then we sent out a letter as a board, and, people are really stepping up and taking a new look at routine maintenance.
Yeah, and it does look nice, it does look very nice.
Probably a dumb question, but anyway. Who's putting the circles around our another bunch of holes?
The ghost.
The ghost.
Yep.
Who's patching them?
We have no idea, you know.
Up to this point, any patchwork to the road within the recent 6 months to the past year has been DR Horton.
Oh.
It's a volunteer
And-
woman, I've talked to her, she's doing that because she says that it makes it easier to see where the pothole is.
Yeah.
And that's her only motivation.
Previously, it was a yellow main, you could really see that. This red is kinda like.
She's running out of paint.
She
I gave her some white paint, cause that's all I had.
Well, it is, you can't see them things and you go, if you're going down, you
And
can go
that's
2
why she
miles
does
an
it.
hour, yeah.
I don't know her name, I just talked to her one day.
Well, we call her the ghost. She's been doing it for years.
She's a lovely lady.
One bit of driving advice, never trust a puddle in Island Green.
Stay home, it's deeper than it looks.
It might
Just to
suck you
make a
in.
comment about this, one of our neighbors, like bent his rim in a
Oh.
pothole.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he was driving down our lovely road, and a newer car with a nicer wheel than I have, and boom, killed the rim. He had to pay $600 out of pocket. He went to have the conversation with Tyler, who was our HOA guy, and Tyler was an advocate for him, brought it as far as he could to the meeting with other Bob, and because there was not
Documentation.
a concurrent police report showing when and where it happened, Bob Bob said, how do I know where this happened? Could have happened anywhere. So if anyone gets a terrible car issue due to a pothole, I highly recommend that you unfortunately take the time to file a concurrent police report to document the time and the place where it occurred. Because if you don't, you'll go through lots of phone calls and emails and your own time just to have Bob say, oh, how do I know where this happened?
He's paid
To
for it.
piggyback on that, that's why a lot of us in Green Springs patio are putting up cameras and getting them together, because we can't necessarily prevent these kids from doing what they're doing, but we can hold them accountable with proof.
Don't tamper with this mic, turn on.
Can't blame them.
Okay.
Well, there's nothing for them to do, so they're creating problems.
Well,
There's
Green
plenty of
Springs
black
has our
grass
little
for them to cut.
community park, and they were in there destroying everything, climbing up on the gazebo and,
Ripping down that little thing, I've seen it down a couple times, cause I walk every morning.
so, you know, it's,
That awning thing,
Yeah.
it's up and down all the time.
There's plenty for them to do, it comes down to parenting.
yeah, it does.
I mean, shoot, I was a teenager too, and I did some stupid shit,
So
but
it's-
I also got my ass kicked when I got caught. Now there's no accountability.
And they'll even say, we're young, they're not gonna do anything to us.
And, well, I will
They do
say, D.R. Horton prosecuted 9
Yes,
kids
that's right.
that was in their, one of their homes, and they destroyed the inside of it. They prosecuted the parents. They had to pay back, and the kids are on probation.
Good.
So something was done.
But they still-
So, you know,
Back in Connecticut, kids actually drove their car to hit a guy on a bicycle and said on their little thing, their phones, that there's nothing gonna happen to us, we're young. Well, guess what? They charging them and they're prosecuting
Good.
them as adults.
Awesome.
Cause they admit that they're not accounted, they're not accountable.
we don't have a juvenile detention center here.
Yeah.
So if they're picked up, they have to go to Columbia.
Good.
They don't take them, the police don't wanna do it. So,
I'd send them to
Yeah.
Colombia,
Huh?
down by Venezuela, that's
Yeah.
what. Maybe they learn to grow up real
No,
quick.
so, you know, it's a
Yeah,
catch-all here,
yeah,
and they know it, those.
that's it, unfortunately.
All right,
Okay,
We're done,
Yes.
thank you.
I'm done.
have a meeting to adjourn.
Next meeting is November 5th,
10.
10th, I don't know.